What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We're back live on it's a Thursday on Tailosive Tech. How's everybody doing today? Haven't a live stream a while. Got to remember to do these. My job position's changed quite a bit, so now I'm just thinking, get a tech video up, and I'm thinking, wait. Haven't done a tech stream in a while, so I am eager to answer your guys' questions. There's been some new developments. Today's new development has all been about the new colors on the iPhones. There will be a video kind of about it. It's not just about new colors. It's more about, and it's being edited by, right now, by the way, by my editor, Xander. It's more about how the LCD iPhone 9 will compare to the iPhone 8 Plus. Because when you think about it, they're both kind of the same price. So it's kind of different. Apple really hasn't had a lineup like this before where one is the same price as another, but they have very different features. Yes.
Speaking of editing the video right now,
here's Xander.
Can you put the audio for the tech videos on that hard drive?
Oh, we still got the audio.
I'm not on that computer.
Here, answer some of the chat.
All right, how's it going,
Give them
chat?
some love.
How you guys doing? Everyone's saying hello. Someone said yogurt.
Yogurt.
Right. Yogurt's cool.
Plugged in. Where do you have it on here?
It would be under, it'd be under audio. I just need the entire audio folder.
Oh, all of audio.
Yeah, because I don't have any of the audio.
Okay. Hey, someone got a text. Give us 1 second here, guys. We want to make sure the video.
Hey,
love from the UK.
Hello.
Nice hairline,
when
my dude.
When do you think we'll get an iPhone that is completely bezel-less? Well,
10 years, I'd say.
Considering how yours and my description of bezel-less is different.
With the Android OEMs that'll have mechanized cameras that pop out.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I forgot. This hard drive has two different hard drives in it, which is weird. Anyway, there's your audio.
Awesome. Thank you.
So now the next tech video
is getting work done.
See
you later, stream.
All right. Thank you, Xander. It's your boy, Big Lasagna. Okay. Switched from Android to Apple because of this guy. I hope you enjoy. That's all I hope. That's all I can hope for any of you. Orange iPhone. Would people buy that? That's my question. Been working out lately. You look healthier. That's good. Not really. Not much. I still close my rings every day, but I'm glad I look healthier. That's always good to hear. Would you get orange or blue iPhone? I'll be getting the 10 Plus, so my iPhone will not be any weird color other than silver. I'm going with silver. But if I were to get the LCD iPhone, I'd probably get a blue one to match the tech set, Tailosive Tech Blue. You should make Xander wear Tailosive gear. Nah. Why? I don't get discounts on them. That would be expensive. What do you do to close your rings? Usually I go on long walks. That typically works. Gives me time to think. Gives me perspective. Apple Sheep Game. Yes, people, hello. Welcome. How much do you think the 10 Plus is going to cost? Rumors right now are suggesting Apple heard all the criticisms of the new iPhones costing too much, so they're going to try to go a little bit cheaper this year and make the Plus model, which has the bigger battery, the extra gig of RAM, the faster CPU, not than the 10, but just overall, the bigger product, the same price as the 10, because most of us were expecting if they made a 10 Plus model of this, then it would cost more because there's more stuff in it, there's more features, but they're expected to make the 10 Plus cost $1,000. I go ahead and aim high. I say never expect Apple to go to the cheap route. So I'm saying 10 Plus is still going to cost $1,100. I still expect the worst, but hope for the best. So if it is $1,000, that's also great. But and then I think the regular 5.8-inch iPhone 10 will be updated, and it'll be $900. And then the LCD iPhone 9, as people are calling it, would be priced at $700. That sounds fairly believable. Drew, an important question. Why are people roasting motorized cameras but not bendable smartphones? Because there's not that many bendable smartphones other than the 6 Plus. Ayo, thank you, Dunk, for your first super chat. Our first super chatter of the day. It says portless won't work out for HDMI out and Lightning headphones. What happens to those users? Do a lot of you use HDMI with your Lightning? I think Apple's just going to tell you use AirPlay on an Apple TV. Like I said, I'm not expecting you all to like this change. In fact, I've been a lot more neutral on the portless iPhone than I have without headphone jacks. I'm very, very much for removing the headphone jack. I'm okay with that. With this one, I'm kind of iffy. I'm kind of like, Apple, you're going to do it, and this is going to change a lot of things. HDMI out is definitely not a big priority for Apple's primary fan base, what they're going for. They're not going to be like, we want to remove the Lightning port. Oh, but people have to use HDMI cables with their iPhone. Not that often. I'm going to go ahead and assume that's in the minority. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying it doesn't happen often. That will no longer be there. Apple TVs aren't sustainable as a way to cast contact for organizations. You know what? You may be right. You may be absolutely right. But I think organizations would rather use laptops than their phones or AirPlays or Chromecasts and things like that. So again, this is something I'm not trying to say there is an alternative to this. I'm just saying Apple is saying you will not do this anymore. That's not a common enough instance for it to be worth it to them. Anyway, and Lightning headphones. I think the Lightning headphones are already stupid. You can't plug them into your Mac. You can't plug them into a lot of at airports. You can't use them. Most people just use their headphone jack earpods with the Lightning dongle when they need to use their iPhone. That's about it. Those users are going to have to change the way they do things. It's the same headphone jack argument all over again. But I can't do this anymore. You're right, you can't. You're going to change the way you do it, as Apple has always shown. I can't use my floppy disks with this new Mac. No, you can't. There's got to be an alternative. You gotta move on to a different method. Max Parker says, I finally bought the iPhone upgrade program, so I'm looking forward to upgrading next year to the 10 Plus. Do you use the upgrade program? I do not. I know this is a dying trend, but I prefer buying phones outright and owning them in their entirety. I'd rather have it not on a monthly plan. I know that a lot of companies are phasing that out, and it's most likely not even going to be an option in the future, and you'll have to get it monthly. But as long as it is available to buy it unlocked and buy it all at once, I will do that as much as I can. All my Apple-centric orgs have to use Apple TVs for all their conference rooms. It's really annoying for our iOS developer school. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. I appreciate the super chat, by the way, but it's not supposed to be an easy process. They're just saying down the road, this is the standard we all have to get used to. Stop using wires everywhere. Use more inductive. Use more AirPlay. I'm not saying it's always going to be the most easy process ever. In fact, this conversion process is probably going to be much worse than the headphone jack. But it is going to happen. When we are going to have to start preparing for it if you expect to buy a new iPhone every year. And if you can't deal with it, don't buy it. It's that simple. What if smart connector on iPhone with Lightning adapter? I think if there is going to be a secret port on the iPhone, it's not going to be accessible to users, just like the Apple Watch. It does not have a port that users can access. There's one there, but the only way to take advantage of that port and actually use it is at Apple stores. Only Apple authorized retailers can actually access that port and turn it into something and actually use it. It's there for Apple if they need a factory reset or they need to hard reset something, but us users won't get to mess with it. So I think a smart connector would probably be too open to the public, and too many third parties would try to use it. No, I don't think the future is smart connector to Lightning adapters. I don't think so. Hey, Viper's in the chat says AirPower is going to flop. I think at launch it will. I think we're right about that. I don't think when AirPower launches there's going to be a ton of sales, but as time goes on, more and more people will have Series 3 Apple Watches. More and more people will have new AirPods. Right now, no one has the new AirPods because you can't buy them. But later on, more and more people will get the newer generation AirPods. And I think in the long run, AirPower will be a success over the course of many, many years, especially given since it's a larger charge pad. I think it has the potential to actually charge iPad Pros if they have inductive glass backs. But like I said, it won't be at launch. It won't be as soon as AirPower is available. They sell like hotcakes. They'll trickle into the market, and over time the sales will pick up as more and more people qualify to use them. But at the start, no, I don't think it's going to sell well. Not Kevin says, is it worth it to pick up the red iPhone 8 Plus right now? No, don't buy iPhones right now. We're so close to the refresh. We're literally 2 months away. Do you use solar changing will be the future? I think you mean solar charging, but the problem with solar that a lot of people don't realize, because a lot of people are just like, well, put solar panels on it and it'll charge. It doesn't necessarily, it's not an efficient way of charging. It's a very, very, very slow charge. And, I'm the guy who uses only inductive Qi charging, and I understand that that's slow. Solar is worse. First of all, there's not a lot of times where our phones are literally just sitting in the sun, especially from the back end. So I don't think solar panels is a worthy investment. If it was, Android OEMs would have done it already. Hey, yeah, Chris Norton, thanks for the big super chat. Someone want to convert that, if you will. That'd be great. Thank you, Chris. Hold on, one more super chat. You're right. You're right. I'd be okay if AirPlay takes off. That is the future. Whether or not it's perfected yet, that happens when there's no other choice. As long as there's a choice to use wired and we keep using it, then the AirPlay wireless solution will never get really that perfected unless we're forced to. And that's always what Apple does. But anyway, you are great. Love tech. Used a Nokia Android. Went back to 6S. Hope you like your 6S. And thank you, by the way, for the big super chat. Chris Norton helps us out a lot. Paul Grosclose in the chat says, will the new iPhone switch to micro USB? Glad that's sarcasm. But yeah, I don't think so. I'm going to go ahead and say no on that one. And thank goodness. Let's see. Will the MacBook and the iPad ever blend into a single product? If it is a better product. I think Microsoft has also showed us that you can't really get a best of both worlds. It's really a jack of all trades, master of none situation with the Surface Pros and Surface Books. It's like the problem people don't realize when they suggest, I want a MacBook / iPad. I want it to run macOS and iOS, or a hybrid. I want a both device. You're going to be paying upwards, probably starting $1,500 or more for an iPad. So it's iOS device, okay? It's like it's just the touchscreen interface for kind of a more multitasking friendly, more capable version of your iPhone. $1,500. That's kind of tight. One of the great things about iPads is the price. They're pretty decently priced compared to laptops. Whereas at the same time, you'll be getting a MacBook that, because it has to also run an iPad OS, the specs on the MacBook are not going to be very good compared to a MacBook Pro or to a 12-inch MacBook that is not a hybrid device. Those devices are going to have fairly decent RAM, fairly decent CPU and GPU for what you're paying. PC people already have a problem with this, but the iPad / MacBook hybrid device would be even worse. As in, you could be getting like dual core CPUs, integrated graphics, and you're still paying $2,000 for a very expensive and under-spec'd MacBook and a very overpriced and unnecessary iPad. So isn't really the best of both worlds, and I think that's why Apple hasn't done it yet. If there was a good way to do it, if there was a good way to mix the two, I think they would be doing it. And since they're not doing it, I think that's evident that there isn't really a good way to do it. Apple needs to drop the 150 megabit limit for app downloads. I agree. There needs to be a switch in iOS that you can toggle if you have an unlimited data plan. Maybe they have some kind of deal with the carriers that prohibits them from doing that, but I think that excuse me. I think that if you have an unlimited data plan, they should not require Wi-Fi for software updates, and they should not require a certain limit for downloading apps and stuff like that. I don't know. Isaiah Penn super chatted. Thank you very much. As did TJ Shook. Skypeck says, what features do you want in iOS 13, and what do you want in the redesign of iOS 13? I try not to get... I do try to read some of the messages that are not super chats, but it's, people who pay have priority over people who don't. Sadly, that's how it has to work. There's a dozen people who have designed iOS, graphical updates and refreshes. I try my best to not get too excited about that, because I know whatever they do, it's probably not going to be that. So I don't want to get too much hopes up, but there's a dozen concepts by artists out there and creators out there who have made what they want iOS to look like. And every time I look at it, I'm like, that makes so much sense. Stop making me think about it. So there's a bunch of stuff out there. I personally don't have many suggestions other than just move the volume indicator. It's time to get rid of that. I don't know why we're still complaining about that 5 years later. Like your iOS 10, 11, and 12 wish list all have the same things on them. we still haven't got them. So, I don't try to have anything very specific because I know it probably won't happen. So, but there's plenty of artists out there who have made their own versions of iOS that look amazing. I can highly recommend. What I can say to the people in the chat who are complaining, Drew, read the messages that are not super chats. We do more live streams than just on tech. Tech is obviously the biggest channel, so we get the most amount of super chats, the most amount of people in these live streams. It's impossible for me to read all your questions. However, we do live streams on our Tailosive Gaming channel, which is on YouTube and Twitch. We live stream to both of them simultaneously. There's the Twitch link. On there, you will get comments read without donations because the streams are a lot smaller. So if you feel like you're not getting heard, head over there. And we stream on them a lot more often than we stream on here. Anyway, Delink says Apple TV is bad. Do you think Apple will make a magic HDMI dongle for TVs or otherwise let third parties like Miracast or Chromecast work with Apple? No, I don't think Apple's method is our service sucks, so let someone else take over. I think it's let's make our service better. Yeah, so I think I think it would be preferable that Apple just makes the Apple TV better. Mine's been okay. I'm having some remote problems with it, like TV remote problems with it, and I think I'm going to make a video about it because it's starting to get frustrating. But the AirPlay aspect of it has always worked wonderfully. AirPlay has never been a problem. The TV remote thing I'm having glitches with, and I don't know why, and it's making me mad because that's an expensive TV box, and I feel like it should work reliably, and it's not. So I think I'll make a video about that later. Love Tailosive Gaming. Oh, good, thank you. Which Qi charging power bank do you use? Do I have it here? I do. It's back here. I use it for my microphone here. This is a great Qi charger. I've actually had people I recommended this to, and then they said they had some charging problems with it. Mine's been okay, but other people out there have had a hard time. It's made by Zonv. It's on Amazon. I think it was like $30, 8,000 milliamp hours. So it's not a huge battery. But what I like about it is it can be charged via Qi, and it gives off a charge via Qi, which means I can drop this, pretend this is a Qi charger, okay? I can drop this on a Qi charger, and it starts charging the battery pack, and also simultaneously put my iPhone on the charge pack, and it will charge the battery pack and my iPhone at the same time, which I really, really like. So, you know, Tailosive Power, which I tweeted about, so I've got this little wooden plate with a Qi charger underneath it. We always put this on it because as soon as I drop it on the Qi charger here, which I guess you can't see, but the lights show up. It starts charging. It's a great charge case. Doesn't cost very much. And right now these things are not very popular. But I think once Apple starts telling people and starts urging people like, hey, Lightning port's going to go, Lightning ports isn't going to be there anymore. Once they start doing that, this type of battery pack is going to become a lot more popular. Also, what's kind of fun is it has every port. So if you have old style chargers, it's got old USB, it's got USB-C on this end, and then it's got micro USB if you have one of those on that end. So it's got all the ports you need for charging. Charges via Qi, gives off a Qi charge, just overall good battery pack. If you want to look it up on Amazon, Zonv, Z-O-N-V. Yeah, they may have made new ones of these. I don't know. I've had this for a long time. Works great for me so far. It is dope, yeah. Would you care about USB-C? Cool shirt, by the way. If the Mac used Lightning ports instead of Thunderbolt, I think that's a bad idea. Lightning was made with the iPhone 5 and is not meant to be a Thunderbolt 3 type port. It's more for mobile stuff. Kevin Smith's asking for it again. It's called Zonv, Z-O-N-V on Amazon. Sorry, I can't really focus on that, but Zonv. I don't really know how to pronounce it. All the coolest products always have the weirdest names, like Quack Quack Adapter and Zonv. Like they make good accessories, but their names are always weird. But what do I know? My name's Tailosive, so I shouldn't be complaining about that. Sorry, was I about to answer someone's question? Oh yeah, Lightning. I actually think it would make more sense if they didn't have headphone jacks on MacBooks, but they kept Lightning, because then at least your Lightning headphones would work on them. But Lightning's not the future port. Lightning's kind of a dated port at this point that they luckily can do fast charging with, but definitely Lightning's on the way out. Lightning's got to move on. Might going all proprietary wireless hurt Apple? She is an amazing open standard, but AirPlay is not going to be extended to competitors' TVs. I'm saying your complaint about plugging in iPhones into TVs is not a common one. People don't do that all the time. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying it's not as common. People they'll not lose many sales by removing that feature. You're not going to be able to take your Apple iPhone screen and put it on non-Apple TV displays. You know, you won't have that option anymore. They're not worried about that. What does Tailosive mean? We just dropped a video about this over on Tailosive Talks, is the latest Hello World, where we gave the backstory of the Tailosive meeting and our logo. So feel free to check that one out if you will. I make sure I get the link real quick. Copy link. If you guys want to check out Tailosive and its backstory, there you go. All right. We already use portless devices. You know, like the Apple Watch is a portless device apart from the Apple authorized port, the only one people can get. Wireless charger with the ports you need or want. That's kind of what it is. Almo C says, when will the MacBook ever have a rear camera or an OLED display? I'm not sure why, because some people were asking about that. Why do you think the MacBook needs a rear-facing camera? It's not really a product people like to hold around and carry around and record things with. I mean, it's kind of nice on iPads because you have a touchscreen, so it's a document scanner. You know, you take the picture, and then you write about it. You write on top of it. With MacBook, not really. You don't really do that. MacBook, you're using a trackpad and a keyboard with. I don't know what you need a rear-facing camera for. Some Chromebooks have rear-facing cameras. Not the Pixelbook, ironically. Cheaper Chromebooks have more cameras than the Pixelbook. Excuse me. What is your editing machine? For me, it's this one, iMac Pro. Basically, the standard configuration apart from 2 terabytes of SSD. Other than that, it's all the standard. And my goodness, it has been handling all of our editing like a champ. So for those of you who don't know, I just hired my friend Xander on full-time. So now there's 2 people working full-time for the Tailosive network, making content on Tailosive Talks, Tailosive Movie Reviews, Tailosive Gaming, Tailosive Tech, main channel skits. There's all types of content being made, and it's almost all being made on the iMac Pro. So we were exporting a podcast while exporting a tech video, while uploading a vlog, all simultaneously. It's been great. It's been a very powerful machine, and it's been working really, really well so far. Very, very capable machine. No, Wyatt doesn't work for us, so he does not get paid. One frustration with Apple Watch is iPhone required. Yeah, again, the funny thing is you're frustrated that Apple Watches require iPhones, yet Apple Watches are the most popular wearable device by far, by quite a long shot too. So there's really no need for Apple to expand Apple Watch compatibility to other smartphones because sales on them are doing great. In fact, 1/3 was the statistic. 1/3 of people who buy Wear OS or Android Wear watches have an iPhone. It just goes to show you what kind of people buy wearables. But yeah, well, lots of people. Yeah, thoughts on the 2012 Retina MacBook Pro going vintage? Well, it's 6 years. You know, it's 6 years old, so I can understand why it's going vintage. The tech age is quick. Who would ever want Android plus Apple Watch? Yeah, I don't know. Like, who would be okay with a $350 Apple Watch, but not a, $800 iPhone? I don't know. That'd be a weird market. Thoughts on Apple Watch Series 4 new features? A lot of people are like, make more videos about the Apple Watch. And it's like, I can't just pull something out of thin air, guys. Like, we wait for the reports. We wait for the rumors. We don't have any yet on the Series 4, other than it's probably going to look different. It's rumored to have a larger display, thinner bezels, slight redesign. That's really all we know. We don't know much else about it. Maybe bigger battery life. There's not much else development other than that. So there's not really much to talk about. I'll be getting one. I'm excited to get one. I was planning to buy an iPhone XR here, and I was starting to thinking about buying the 6.1-inch iPhone. What would be the differences? Okay, so that's a good question. Lots of differences here. 6.1-inch LCD versus iPhone X. No 3D touch, no dual camera, no a higher resolution display. You're going to have thicker bezels on this one, which is kind of an oxymoron given this design with the notch and with Face ID is to go bezel-less. This one's going to have thicker bezels. This one's going to have a better display, better color accuracy, more pixels. OLED displays, they're better pixels. This is LCD. This is old-fashioned. Plentiful. You have a larger option with the 10. You have one option with the 6.1-inch LCD. You also have a smaller option with the 10 if the 6.1-inch is too big for you. You're going to have more color options, I guess, with the LCD, but the portrait mode features on the rear-facing camera, if you care about that, it's not going to be here. LCD iPhone is going to have one lens on the back. So there's your differences for the most part. I do not watch the World Cup, no, but that's not me in the world thing. I don't watch any sports, even American sports I don't watch. Well, Apple's now just iPhone plus iPhone accessories, and it's working. It's working really well. Their phones are selling great. When will be another podcast? So the podcasts, as of right now, are not a form of revenue. We don't really make much off of them, and they kind of take, an hour and a half out of our day. So they're not a huge priority right now. So that's why we haven't been very consistent about that. And we are making money on the other Tailosive channels. So as a business owner, when your job is to create content, you do kind of have to focus on what pays the bills. If you don't focus on what pays the bills, you're not going to be in business. So that's why the tech podcast is not like top priority right now. There will be another one. I can't tell you when exactly, but we'll work on them. Okay, they're in the works. If you could add a feature to the iPhone lineup, what would it be? Software and hardware? I'm excited for the augmented reality glasses thing. I think that's going to change the way we use all of our products. I don't think on the iPhone itself, there's much software and hardware you can really add that will change much. There's only external things, external accessories that can really make the experience better. Chris Norton says, I think Apple are a great accessibility. Options are helpful. Yes, I agree. I've tried so much of the alternative. That's a common misconception for a lot of people who come to my channel. They're just like, well, Drew, you just have to try this, or you just need to try this. There's more options out there. I have tried them. Like I've used more Android phones than iPhones. I've never had a better experience with an Android phone than I've had with any iPhone. I've used several Windows PCs in my time, both made by Microsoft, both custom built, pre-built, laptop, tablet. I've used all these Windows devices before, and I've never had a better overall experience than I've had with my MacBook or my iMac. They've just worked so reliably, and that's how we get our info. That's how we generate our opinions, is just what our experience has been. Like, I understand people out there who have said like iOS has been unreliable, has not worked for them, they can't use an iPhone anymore. If it has not been reliable, I understand it. Don't buy an iPhone. It's not been good for you. For me, that's what Windows and Android has been. Every time I use them, they glitch out. They're not reliable. They don't provide a better experience. I don't care about customization. Wow, the launcher is different. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help me get my job done. It doesn't help the product be a better product. So that's why I don't like them. It's as simple as that. Wait for 2-gen AirPods. What's new release date? The only thing really you should be waiting for AirPods for is if you have a Series 3 Apple Watch and an iPhone 8 or 10. The only advantage to the new AirPods that we know of right now, the pods themselves aren't changing. It's just the charge case is going to be supported by AirPower. So if you don't have a Series 3 and an 8 or 10, buy AirPods now. There's nothing. You're waiting for nothing. You don't need to spend $200 on a charge mat for one pair of headphones. It's just not worth it. If you do want AirPower is important to you. You're waiting for that to come out, hopefully in September. You have a Series 3 and an iPhone 8 or 10. Then I can kind of understand you wanted to go for I can understand you wanting to go for the later AirPods with the charge case. Android isn't better; it just isn't as antisocial. Like my phone I don't really see how it's antisocial. Most people who don't buy iPhones just don't buy as many accessories. The ones that are compatible with Apple are compatible with Apple because that's what makes them work good. iOS can be very reliable because Apple makes the software and the hardware themselves. We all know when we get software updates, we know what features we're going to get. With Android, you don't know these things. So it's just people want things to be supported. Let's see. The Windows auto update didn't save a file I was doing. Yeah, I've had a lot of instances like that with Windows 10. Literally, my friend Xander just was telling me he ran this test because we have custom built PC in the gaming room. And we noticed that every time our friend Wyatt's using that PC, the internet just tanks. The internet gets way worse. So we did a speed test of our Wi-Fi and got like 230 down, 30 up. That's standard for us. You know, that's the best we can get here in Chico. So we ran the speed test and we're like, okay, yeah, that's decent. Hit the space bar, turn on the Windows PC, run the speed test again. Download is now 30 down, 10 up. So literally just having the Windows 10 PC on the lock screen just completely dumbs down our internet. I don't know why. It's not updating. We turned off auto update. It shouldn't be doing that. It's just the fact of being alive hurts it. Antisocial meaning talking only to their own devices. My point is their own devices are good. Android has Android Wear, but it sucks. So it's like, yeah, it's more social, but to crappier options. My whole debate with iOS and Android is Android gives you more options. They're all crap, but there's more options. iOS gives you less options, but they are good options. Thank you for making me for taking me back to Apple. You're welcome, Splash. I hope you enjoy it. How's macOS Mojave? We were having a little bug with it today, which is as expected. It is a beta. We were having some problem transferring footage from our CFast card to the computer. We did it just yesterday and it worked fine, and then today it was acting up. So that's just, you know, you got to take that with a grain of salt if you get a macOS beta. But luckily, we have our backup iMac in the gaming room, which is pretty powerful, and it can handle tech videos just fine. That's running High Sierra. So if anything goes wrong with Mojave, like it did, we have a backup. But also, I need to just stream in here anyway, so it works out. Bryce Peterson says, do you use Apple Pay a lot? I think I do. I'd say 1 to 2 times a day. I think I use Apple Pay. I go to a grocery store. I go to restaurants. Usually they have them. Thoughts on Red OnePlus 6? They're copying everything Apple does, except without the charity. Yeah, copy that part. Yeah, OnePlus isn't, I don't think, doing as well. Do you think iPhone 10 is a little underpowered? I don't, given the CPU can outperform every Android phone. So no, I don't think it's underpowered. That I just don't care about many of the so-called Android options. I want a phone to function. A lot of people do. And you're not wrong for that, Guy Davis. Like, yes, you can tell me on Android that you can customize where the apps sit on the home screen. You can customize the launcher. You can customize the skin your Android phone is running. You can customize the lock screen. All these things, though, don't really result in a better product. It's really just arguing that, you know, the color blue is better than the color red. It's like, for you maybe, but whether or not the Photos app is on the top of my home screen or the bottom of the home screen, I don't really care. I just would like support. You know, I like having software updates. I like getting new features and better features every year. And I know when those features are going to come out every June. We can expect WWDC to tell us all the new features everyone all the way back to the iPhone 5S is going to get with Android. It's like you got to make up your own excitement. It's like, ooh, I'm getting a new Android launcher today. Ooh, I can pay for wallpapers in the settings app. How fun is that, right? If you got a Samsung, you get to look forward to your photos getting texted out to random people. Should Apple make their own Yelp? Thoughts on maps? I never really use Yelp. I feel like if you have a good time at a restaurant, you never review it. So Yelp only has the people who are mad. But Apple Maps has always worked great for me. My experiences don't line up with the internet's claims that Apple Maps sucks. Apple Maps is terrible. Every time I use it, it gets me where I need to go. In fact, most of my friends who use Google Maps get lost, which is the exact polar opposite of what the internet always says. They're always like, Google Maps is the best, Apple Maps sucks. In my personal life, my friends get lost and get stuck with Google Maps, and with Apple Maps, it always works more reliably. So I don't have a problem with Apple Maps. Simos815 says, hey, Drew, tell us your experience with Blackmagic. The camera, I really only have the one. It's back there. I've enjoyed it. Quality looks good. I like all the options it gives you. I like the display on there. It's a very high-resolution display. The only thing I wish you could do is flip the display all the way around so I could see myself. I can't do that, which is kind of frustrating. But other than that, yeah, it's been a good experience. Reliable. CFast cards are good. I like that I can directly plug it into the wall and have infinite, power. Don't have to worry about battery life and stuff like that. It's been good. I've enjoyed it. I could recommend the Blackmagic. Someone donated but retracted the message. Adrian says, would you rather daily Pixel 2 or iPhone 7? This is like the most common question I get is like Pixel 2 or this, or S9 or this phone. I'll take the iPhone as long as it can run the latest version of iOS, because it means I can get all the same features I have with my current iPhone. When I switch to Android, I'm losing out on that iMessage support and that AirDrop support and that iCloud support. If I switch to Android, I miss out on all those things. Whereas if I buy an iPhone 7 or an iPhone 5S, even if I switch back all the way to there, I can still get a lot of the Apple ecosystem advantages and support that I like in my current day iPhone, where I would lose that if I switch to Android. So unless you start getting into the iPhone 4 or S9 or iPhone 3GS or S9, then it's like, okay, well, if I switch to the 4 or the 3GS, I'd be losing out the features that I appreciate on my iPhone anyway because it's so old. So there, sure, I'll take the S9. But for the most part, if it can run iOS 12, if it can run the latest iOS and it's an iPhone, I'm going to take that before I take the S9. Caleb super chatted. Don't see. Oh, what store do you go to that supports Apple Pay? There's a Rayleigh's that supports Apple Pay. Places like McDonald's support Apple Pay. Walmart doesn't support it, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, most of those places, grocery stores like and stuff like that, have it here. Here in Butte County, at least, it's pretty common. Gas stations have it. Thanks for answering my questions. I was just grilling you about some of the points I thought you didn't hit in your recent portless video. There's no denying there will be things you miss out on. There will be things that there will be features that you have now that will not be there if they remove the port. I'm not trying to deny that. I'm just saying Apple has time and time again. We need to grow to expect this, guys. After the headphone jack, I don't know how many more times I have to say it. Apple wants to change the way we use our products for the better. Right now, it's going to be kind of weird. Right now, it's going to be an awkward transition, but they're going to ask us to change the way we use our products again. I'm simply trying to tell you all, be ready for it. Don't shoot the messenger. A lot of people commented like how terrible this is and it's my fault. I'm not deciding to remove the Lightning port. This was not my decision. I'm just telling you what's going to happen, right? Yes, and you're welcome. What will the new iPad Pro would offer more than bezel-less display? Face ID, potentially glass back with inductive charging. Hopefully, that's a bit of a long shot, but more powerful CPU. That's really about it. Think about it, but probably a better camera. Can't wait for them to get S9's fast Qi charging. Well, we've got 10-watt fast charging on iPhones, which has been good. But yeah, I'm okay with my phone charging a little slower if it means my pictures don't get sent to random people. No thanks. I won't take that. I won't take the Samsung over that. Almost he says, when will the Mac ever get an updated webcam? And they should really update the 1,000-year-old dashboard that they still keep. Yeah, they could update that. I agree. But webcams are called webcams for a reason. They are there for like FaceTime, and that's about it. Like the fact that iMac Pro has a 1080p one, I think is just a blessing, given the Mac costs that much. It would be kind of mean to ship such an expensive computer with a 720p webcam, which they still do with a lot of MacBooks. But webcams are by definition not supposed to be very good. You know, the webcam was up. Yeah, so if you're willing to spend $5,000, then yeah, you'll get a webcam update. But we use the webcam every live stream on the 5K iMac in the back of the gaming room. It's fine. Webcams are just for quick little like, oh, people need to see me real quick. It's not supposed to be a great camera, so it's not a priority. Cameras are not often commonly used with the Macs, and if they are, they're not really supposed to look amazing. They look okay. In fact, I just ordered an Elgato Cam Link, which means that the next Tailosive Tech stream probably won't be with this webcam. It'll likely be with the DSLR camera that I'll have on my desk. And hopefully the live streams will look a lot better and sound a lot better, just because I figured you guys have been so generous. So I should up the stream quality a little bit if I can, so I'll do my best. I just bought a webcam because at least it's better than my 720p 2012 MacBook Pro. Yeah, they're just kind of a little slap on. They're not supposed to be the best thing ever. How will CarPlay work if the iPhone goes portless? It currently only works with a Lightning cable. And currently there are only iPhones with Lightning ports. My point is this thing is happening sometime in the near future. I'm sure they're working on that. I'm sure they could pair it CarPlay and your iPhone inductively or via Bluetooth or NFC. I'm sure they're working on that. That's not going to hold up the whole process. I'm just saying the reports we were reading from Inside Information, excuse me, were saying that they're considering removing the port. I'm sure they're thinking about all of the applications the Lightning port's being used in right now. Right now, no, they could not remove it at this exact second because we already have our iPhones. I don't even think it's going to happen this year, but it's something they're thinking about. They're not going to be like, oh shoot, CarPlay, never mind, can't do it. The CarPlay is used probably by like 2% of iOS users, by the way. Samsung Pay's legacy of Loop Pay keeps me Korean. Gotcha. My iPod Touch is showing up as a 7th gen on iOS 12. What are your thoughts about this? I have iOS 12. We had iOS 12 on my iPod Touch too. Yes, that is possible. It is something that you can do. Will there be a redesigned proprietary Lightning? No. I think there will be a proprietary charge method that we're going to see with AirPower. Like, I'm curious to know if AirPower can charge Android phones. Maybe it can. I could understand if it could, but I could also understand if it didn't. It'd be kind of weird. I'm not sure if AirPower supports any Qi supported device or AirPower works on its own separate method, because Qi doesn't work on the AirPods charging case or the Apple Watch Series 3, but it does work on AirPower. So it's kind of, I'm not sure. What do you think about the person who modded an iPhone 7 by putting a headphone jack in? It was funny, and do you think it's possible on the iPhone 10? It's not, because of the curved display at the bottom. At the bottom of an iPhone 10, you have the OLED panel that curves back, so the ribbon attaches on the top. So in other words, if you wanted to add the headphone jack, you would cut a hole in the display, and I think that wouldn't be good for it. So I'm imagining the display would be broken if you did that. But yes, that guy's channel is called Strange Parts. He's a really cool channel. I love watching his stuff. He's really optimistic about stuff, and he's really into the inner workings of how iPhones work. I love Strange Parts' channel. Love his stuff. I just love Talos, honestly. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Do you make worthy amount of money to spend all this time and effort on YouTube? It's my passion. You guys are able to super chat. I'm able to make enough money that I can live off of it, which means that my full-time job is to make content, not just for tech, but across all the Tailosive network channels. And I'm enjoying it. Yeah, I'm not, I don't buy anything too fancy. I can buy general consumer stuff like iPhones. And if I save my money for a good long while, I'll be able to afford stuff like an iMac Pro. That's not easy for me to buy, by the way. It's not like, iMac Pro, go for it. That took half a year of saving. Like every single month, put a little bit more money aside. As soon as the iMac Pro came out, I started putting money aside for it. It took a long time to get there, but I got there. But yeah, I can't afford things like Teslas. I can't afford Red cameras. I can't afford to make my own accessories. Some people think Tailosive is a lot bigger than it really is. They're like, have Tailosive R&D make this accessory. And I'm like, there's no R&D. It's me and my friend Xander from high school. That's it. That's our whole staff. When are you going to buy a Tesla? Right now. Here I go. Yay! Got my Tesla. This is the Tesla I can afford. It's fun. It's self-driving too. I can just... There it goes. It's fun. Yeah, this goes on the shelf where it belongs. Anyway, what is color you would like the iPhone 10 to be? I'm fine with the colors now. Like copper gold is definitely going to come out. Like when the blush gold option comes to the 10 and 10 Plus this year, it'll be cool, but I don't think I'll get it. I'm going silver, which we already have, but I prefer that color. Do you own other shirts? No, this is the only shirt I wear every single day, and I never change. No, I have lots of shirts. There's many that you can check out on our merch page. You should get a website. We had a website for a while. I stopped paying for it. I got rid of the domain name because I wasn't using it. What's the point? My content is on YouTube, and the whole website was just telling everyone to watch our YouTube videos. So it's like, just watch our YouTube videos. For updates, go to Twitter. That's free. For behind the scenes, go to Instagram. To watch the content, it's on YouTube. What's the site's unnecessary? It's stupid. It cost money. Wait, is that a Tesla on the red iPhone box collection? I've always wondered what it was. Yes, that's what it is. Wear more personal shirts, not Tailosive shirts. I'm a walking billboard. That's what I gotta do. I could wear random shirts, but I'd rather show you guys what you can buy yourself to support us. That's what I'd rather do. Is you getting the new iPhone on launch day? I is getting the new iPhone on launch day. You think Apple Watch LTE can replace iPhone? No, they're two entirely separate products. They don't overlap as the same thing. How the 6.1-inch iPhone will be chinless with an LCD? The entire side bezel is a lot thicker than it is on the 10. So the LCD iPhone is not going to have as thin as bezels as this. It's one size bezel all the way around, but basically they got the thinnest chin possible at the bottom. It is based on the renders we're seeing, it is a fairly thin chin for a smartphone. The chin at the bottom is still pretty thin, but it's going to be equally width across the sides and on the top as well. Yeah. But almost all cases are colored. You can count on one hand how many clear cases I've seen recently. I mean, like, you can say that about the colors now. I don't know why you're just bringing up the argument of, but people are going to use a case anyway, because we already have, 4 colors for the iPhone 8 Plus and 2 colors for the iPhone 10. You could also apply to those, but people have cases anyway, so they should just have space gray. We should only have one color for everything because people have cases. Some people like to have different options, different colors. It's nice. What do you believe Apple is going to do to differentiate the iPhone 9 besides the camera and the size? The colors, as everyone's been talking about, Wolfie. There will be different color options for the iPhone 9 that the regular 10 does not have, but they're gonna appeal to be a bit more childish. As you can see by the thumbnail of this stream, red, blue, orange as the other colors. The TCU is in development. Okay, it's ongoing. We filmed half of it a year ago, so continuing that, we've got a whole new camera. We had to move offices. We had to collab with MKBHD. A lot's changed since then. All right, it's in development. I have no updates on it other than main channel's been monetized, so we're working on Saturday shorts. That's priority. Those things are gonna take a while. Those things are big projects and honestly kind of childish. So I'm not sure how the audience is going to respond when they watch them. They're going to be like, this is stupid. I moved from a 2010 MacBook Pro and then I update to a 2015 MacBook Pro. Is that a good update? I think so. 5 years. Retracted it. TCU Phase 2 is a trailer we had, a cinematic universe we have over on the main channel, the Tailosive channel, with comedy skits and stuff. It's something we teased and worked on a year ago. We filmed about half of it. We still have another half to film, but a lot's changed since then. When we started filming TCU, we didn't even have an office, and then main channel got demonetized, so that got delayed as well. So, yeah. Let's see. My parents got a Zenfone 3 Max. The box says that the phone is known by the state of California to cause cancer and reproductive defects, that you should wash your hands after you use the phone. Jeez, how can they ship that? That doesn't sound legal. God, that's awful. That's terrible. I have a HomePod and wouldn't mind another for best sound quality. Would you recommend waiting for the new speaker supposedly coming out? Not like, we know so little about the next gen HomePod. The most recent rumors are saying that the next HomePod and the next AirPods are coming out in 2019. So I wouldn't say that there's new HomePods like really soon. I think they're probably going to come out next year. Not very quick. You love the cheesy, childish videos. It shows your creativity and that you don't care what others think of you. Yeah, and I also don't care that people keep asking me to release it, because it's like, we'll get to it when we get to it. I feel like it's just going to disappoint you at this point, but some of it's been edited. It's definitely not anywhere near being done though. So, and there would be another trailer for the TCU before we release it. So, don't think it's going to be dropped any day now. You are a personality-driven channel, so skits are okay. All right, I'm glad you like them. We're going to be working on little comedy skits for that channel, but it's not the TCU yet. That's in the foreseeable future, but definitely not soon. I'm a huge fan and have your same name. Please give me a shout out. Drew, thanks for tuning in. After release of iPhone 9, will the 8 Plus have any resale value because it's not bezel-less? I think the iPhone 8 Plus might have a surge in sales after the iPhone 9 because it's going to be the same price. $700, $700. Dual camera, no dual camera. 3D touch, no 3D touch. Higher pixel density, lower pixel density. No notch, has a notch. Touch ID, no Touch ID. I'm not saying that one is better than the other. I'm just saying there's a lot of people who didn't like the iPhone 10 because of the notch, no home button, Touch ID. They didn't care for that. So the 8 Plus being the same price as the iPhone 9 is going to distort the lineup a little bit. It's not going to be the same as before. Usually in Apple's iPhone lineup, it's like the more you pay, the better the phone. You know, the iPhone 10 has the best everything, so you pay the most for that one. 8 Plus is pretty good. It's a little cheaper. The 8 isn't as good, but it's definitely the cheapest. Then you go a year older, 7, less features, but it's cheaper. So it's like the more you pay, the more you get. Whereas this is going to be same price, but totally different products. Do you like having a notch? Do you not like having a notch? Do you care about 3D touch? Do you not care about 3D touch? Do you want a dual camera? Do you not want a dual camera? They're both LCDs, so it could go either way, and I could see the market being very, very split on it. Thank you for the super chat, Lucas. How did you say you back up your phone? Does iCloud back up music? Dude, your music's on your iTunes account. It's built in. You just sign into your iTunes account. It's all going to be in the music library anyway. I'm actually surprised there's that many people that still sync their iTunes library via Lightning cable. You can sync your iTunes account via Wi-Fi now. You've been able to do that for a long, long time. That's the 7th gen on iOS 12. Yeah, I answered your question. I'm not amazed that your iPod Touch has iOS 12. That's fine. What's your favorite Apple product? I've been waiting to ask this. Probably my iPhone. My iPhone's fine. Someone says, I see a lizard on the floor behind you. Mark Zuckerberg's behind me. What's that rash on your forehead? This is a skin disease called psoriasis. It's genetic. You're born with it. Is there really a lizard back there? That'd be cool. We have found a lizard in the office before. That was kind of funny. What kind of iPad would you recommend? I'd recommend not buying one right now. Updates are probably, they might even be as early as September. That's 2 months away. But obviously, if you can afford the Pro is going to be better. If you can't, the budget one's fine. Looks like a shadow. Well played. That's good. Yeah, no, God thinks it's funny, so he put a notch on my forehead. See, we're matching. We got a notch on my phone and on my forehead. It's perfect. Do you think it's still worth to buy an Airport Express and an Airport Extreme? But already bought a 3 terabyte time capsule recently. Have lots of Apple iDevices and only one. Well, if they're about to be discontinued, maybe you want to try it. But would you get a round Apple Watch if the OS handled it well? I still don't think there will be a round Apple Watch. I don't think they'll do that, but let's see. When someone says Android is better, I just say iMessage and the argument ends. Well, there's more to it than iMessage, but I mean, that's definitely a big reason for a lot of people. But it goes to show you Android fragmentation is not just about the version of Android you're using. It's like 30 different messaging apps, and some people enjoy being able to text each other. You know, they get on a plane and they connect to the Wi-Fi and they can text via iMessage, whereas Android phones, you would have to switch over to Messenger because SMS does not work on the plane. And just a lot of people who travel a lot, iPhone just makes more sense for them, which is why so many people are excited about the dual SIM option coming to the 10 Plus, because that actually keeps a lot of people from switching to an iPhone, is the dual SIM. In need of a new phone, wait or buy iPhone 10 now. Don't buy any iPhones now. I don't know how many times I have to say that. It's not a good time to buy an iPhone. It's like fruit. You want to buy it when it's ripe. It's literally, Apple, like it's not ripe right now. If you buy an iPhone 10 now, it's going to be nice for 2 months, and then new ones are going to come out. Your iPhone's going to be dated. You could have got the same iPhone or a better iPhone for cheaper. Just wait. Don't buy any iPhones, Apple Watches, AirPods are fine. Even iPads. Now is not a good time to buy a lot of tech. Now is the waiting period. Embed Tailosive power into your table. Oh, that's okay. I might want to move it someday if I want to move it. Is dual SIM actually happening? It seems so counterintuitive. Just go eSIM. Oh, well, that's what I meant. Like they said they're going to have a SIM card tray, so a regular physical SIM card, but also adopt an eSIM at the same time. So you'll be able to have 2 SIM cards. There'll be one SIM card tray, but there will also be an eSIM. Yes, I'm still with my girlfriend. We are happily still dating. For 18 months, we've been dating. Are front-facing cameras really needed on all bezel-less smartphones? I mean, needed is subjective. For some people, it could be extremely helpful. For other people, it could be never used. Like, I personally wish there would be an Android OEM out there that's like, so we wanted to make a bezel-less design, and we realized, who needs a front-facing camera? How often do you really use that? Especially like gaming phones that are like oriented towards gamers. Do gamers take a lot of pictures with their phone? Maybe it would be smart to like build a gaming phone with a great display, and it just doesn't have a front-facing camera. I think that would be more like admirable than like motor. Keep prices low, make manufacturing it easier, make it still be waterproof and have just as many features as a flagship. But it's just like, we don't need a front-facing camera. We just don't need one. Almost he says, will Apple soon kill off the iPad mini, Mac mini, and the iPod Touch? I wouldn't be surprised if they killed off any of those things. If they killed off any of those, I'd be like, yeah, sounds right. But also, they have said in the past that they are working on refreshing the Mac mini. We just haven't seen any evidence of it. So I don't know. iPod Touch, definitely. iPad mini, definitely, with the larger iPhones being a trend now. iPad minis are redundant. You don't need them anymore. Clearly, they're not updating them. They're just trying to clean out their warehouses of them. I wish the MacBook Pro would update their camera. I would love to FaceTime more often on there. I mean, for FaceTime, it's fine. Is your internet so good that it matters with cameras like that? Instead of having a chin, why don't you put the display ribbon connector at the top? You wouldn't have a chin and no notch. Well, it's probably because the sensors like camera, face unlock, earpiece, those things take up space in the phone and there's no room for the ribbon. I imagine since no one's done it, there's probably a reason why no one's done it. Can you buy me a 10 Plus for no reason? Nope. I need a good reason. What would be on your dream iPhone? iOS. I pretty much watch over my LTE. Will Apple discontinue the 8 and 8 Plus product red in September? If they do the same thing they did last year, yes, because that's what happened. Like, there was the product red iPhone 7, but then when the 8 came out, you could no longer buy the product red 7. And on the website, they do call product red limited edition. So I would go ahead. I'm not going to say it's impossible that they'll keep selling the red one because it is really cool, and they may be doing okay with the product red 8, so they might just keep doing it. So, but also it's very possible they'll stop selling it when the new iPhones come out, and you won't be able to get a product red 8 anymore. Hope you had a great holiday, bro. Thank you. I worked for a bit of it, and I got sick during some of it. So I had an okay holiday, but it definitely gave me perspective, and it made me excited to come back to work. And I am excited to be at work now. Did you see the comments on the podcast video about the bad white balance? Yes, we heard your complaints loud and clear. Part of it is just Sanders learning all the new editing stuff. We're just a little bit rusty. So yes, we'll be paying attention more closely to color correction on the gaming and podcast videos. We heard you. We heard our complaints. Next podcast, next gaming vid, we'll definitely try to fix that. And thank you for bringing it up in a constructive way. We really appreciate that. I'm not going to tell everyone. No, we're not going to talk about my relationship on a tech stream. Let's talk about iPhones. What time do you stream on Twitch, and will you stream today? What is the time? We don't really have a structured schedule for streams. If you want to get alerted before I stream, follow Tailosive Gaming on Twitter, because I always tweet out right before we go live. But I can't. My life isn't structured enough that I can just always tell you exactly when I'll be able to live stream. But it's typically every day at some point. It's when I'm free, essentially. Sometimes I stream late at night. Most of the time I do, but also sometimes I'll stream in a more reasonable part of the day. It just depends on the day. What do you think about the portless new iPhone? Oh, I just did a whole video on that. Go watch it. Let's see. The Pixel 3 with a notch and a large chin looks ridiculous. I understand the need for a notch, but if you have a chin with an OLED screen, you don't need a notch. I guess they wanted front-facing speakers, but a full edge-to-edge display. I don't know. The notch in the chin is not what's bothering me about the Pixel 3. It's mostly the single lens camera on the back. So much of that phone confuses me. The fact that they're chipping a Snapdragon 845 after the A12 chip is going to come out. Has Xander been editing all of your recent tech vids? They're really great. Yes, all of the tech vids from this week and last week, I believe, were all edited by Xander. Would you sell your channel for $10 million? Oof, I'd have to think about that. I could restart my career if I sold it for $10 million. So yeah, I don't know. I could come up with another name. I would sell it for $10 million and then ask that I keep the Tailosive name. So someone could have Tailosive Tech, but then I would start a whole new network of channels with that 10 million or something. Since YouTube boxing matches are in full swing, you should square up with Linus Tech Tip. No thanks. No thanks. Their Linus Tech Tips audience gets feisty. They get feisty fast. Anyway, thank you guys for all your super chats. We're going to wrap it up here since we've reached our hour for the live stream. And keep in mind, you're still getting a tech video today. It's on the works. It's in the works right now, and it should be uploaded in the next few hours. And can't always help but plug myself on all of the new channels. We got Tailosive Gaming. If you feel like your comments are not being answered, be sure to check out our Twitch. There's the link to that. If you want to see more behind the scenes and a daily life and more social commentary, check out Tailosive Talks. We got Tailosive Move Reviews. I'm uploading my Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom to Tailosive Move Reviews very, very soon. The video is done. Just got to upload it. And Comedy Skits should be headed towards the main channel soon. So Tailosive Music's posting every day. Just go subscribe. Hit subscribe on all those channels, guys. Anyway, thank you for your time today. Appreciate all of the super chats and your questions. Can't wait to see you guys again. This is your Apple Sheep here, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good day.